Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're really digging into something pretty fundamental. What success actually is.
Right. Because it feels like the modern world, it pushes this idea that it's all about being busy, moving faster, getting more stuff.
Yeah, go for it. Just do it. Have it all. But, well, what if that it isn't really fulfilling?
It's a compelling illusion, isn't it? And the sheer amount of information coming at us, the pressure, it can be, frankly, overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
So our goal here in this deep dive is to cut through some of that noise, give you maybe a shortcut to getting really informed.
We're going to unpack some pretty transformative ideas, drawing heavily from this framework sometimes called success intelligence.
Exactly. Challenging the usual thinking and hopefully giving you some actionable knowledge, stuff you can use right away.
So if you've ever felt caught on that, hamster wheel, chasing something you can't quite define, or just swamped by info,
Yeah.
well, this is for you.
Get ready for maybe a bit of a perspective shift.
Let's jump in. Okay, first off, this frenzy of modern life. It's been called the manic society, and we're definitely like the busy generation.
We really are conditioned for speed, aren't we? This whole ASAP way of life.
There's even that term, the honkosecond. Did you hear about that? A professor coined it for the tiny gap between a light turning green and the car behind leaning on the horn.
Ah, yeah. It's funny, but also kind of revealing about our collective impatience.
It is. And it's interesting how that constant hurry, well, it actually clouds our vision, doesn't it?
It really does. One of the core insights we found from the source material for today was this realization of being in too much of a hurry for success to know what they were looking for.
We mix up speed with progress, right?
Yeah.
Adrenaline with purpose, urgency with actual importance.
Yeah, like running flat out but having no idea where the finish line is.
And it's not just us as individuals, it's baked into our workplaces too, these hyperactive workplaces.
Right, where often it seems like looking busy is rewarded more than actually being effective.
I read about this thing called the double jacket maneuver. You leave a coat on your chair so people think you're around, working late, even if you're not.
Wow, that's quite something. It just shows the pressure, doesn't it, to constantly appear busy.
So what's the real cost of all this rushing around?
Well, think about that story of Clive. He said something like, I work full-time, I live part-time. He loved his work, apparently, but felt he'd lost his life.
And he estimated only, 1% of his day was on actual vision, strategic thinking.
Yeah, just 1%. And research backs this up. A big survey found over 2/3 identified being too busy as the biggest block to spiritual growth.
Wow.
Another one found 86% said long hours hurt their relationships with their kids. And almost half the managers thought long hours were just necessary for success.
Like you have to choose between work success and life success.
Exactly. That you have to lose in life to win at work, which is a pretty bleak outlook.
It gets even bleaker. That joy of work survey, over 60% of professionals saying they wouldn't want their own kids working where they do.
That's a huge indicator, isn't it? Widespread dissatisfaction.
And this crazy pace, it bleeds into what's called the joyless economy, our whole consumer culture.
Mm-hmm. The social psychologist David Myers pointed out, even though we're much wealthier now than in, say, 1957, the number of Americans saying they're very happy actually went down slightly.
So more money doesn't automatically equal more happiness.
Definitely not. There's even this satirical prayer mentioned, cash which art on plastic. It perfectly captures how we almost worship consumerism, thinking happiness is something you can just buy.
Like an it.
Yeah, and it. And people are constantly spending. It's a cycle.
There's this quote that just nails it. You're spending the best years of your life doing a job that you hate so you can buy stuff you don't need to support a lifestyle you don't enjoy.
Ooh. Yeah, that's the core of the joyless economy right there.
And this relentless busyness, it takes a toll on our relationships too, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Too busy to connect properly, to really talk, or even just say, I love you or thank you often enough.
And like you said, it blocks personal or spiritual growth for so many people.
That's right. There's this exercise mentioned, the busyness audit. It asks a simple but apparently quite difficult question. What did you really do yesterday that was worth mentioning?
And people find that hard to answer.
Very hard, apparently. The insight being that constant busyness often covers up a lack of clarity about what real success even means to you. Once you get that clarity, a lot of the pointless rushing just falls away.
Okay, so if being constantly busy isn't the answer, what is? This is where the deep dive kind of pivots, right, towards vision and inner wisdom.
Exactly. The journey for the person behind a lot of these ideas really kicked off after his father died from alcoholism. He was just a teenager.
And he started asking these huge questions.
Yeah. What is life for? What is success? What is happiness? He realized these questions actually scared most people, maybe because we stay busy to avoid asking them.
That makes sense.
And what emerged was this deep understanding that success isn't just a destination or an achievement. It's more of a journey, a discovery, and that needs vision.
So how do you cultivate that vision?
Well, a big part of it was realizing the power of slowing down. He talks about this taxi ride where the driver had inspirational quotes up, including, "Be still and know that I am God."
Mm-hmm.
And it was a reminder. He found that intentionally slowing down actually improved the quality of his life and work. More, intelligent pacing, more presence.
It's like that philosophy of slow. If something is worth doing, it is worth doing slowly. If you can't afford the time to do it slowly, maybe it's not that important after all.
Precisely. And this connects to needing white space. Dedicated thinking time. Maybe just 20 minutes a day, but purely for vision, for reflection.
Like an internal phone call with your own inner intelligence.
Yeah. And the flip side is that maybe busyness is like a blindfold you wear when you're afraid to face something, masking fear or maybe a lack of trust in how things unfold.
So if busyness is the blindfold, what are we trying to see?
The insights point really strongly towards self-knowledge. That's called the jewel in the crown of success.
Yeah.
More vital than IQ or your resume or anything external.
How do you access that?
Well, one tool mentioned is this I am self-rating scale. They use it with a client, Peter, who initially rated I am energized, way down at -3.
Okay.
Tuning into that tiredness helped him see he disliked his job. But the real breakthrough, when asked to explore who am I, Peter unexpectedly wrote this beautiful poem, something he never knew he could do.
Wow.
It reveals what's called the unconditioned self, our original potential, before the world layered on the learned self, the image we project.
Like peeling back layers to find who you were before everyone told you who you should be.
Exactly that, finding your true essence.
This feels like it connects deeply to our inner dialogue, how we talk to ourselves.
Absolutely. It shapes everything. I think, therefore, I am scared, hopeful, whatever it is. That's our inner reality.
And the idea here is that a coach, for instance, isn't just there to give advice.
No, not at all. More like helping you hear your own inner wisdom.
Yeah.
Distinguishing it from all those learned thoughts, your mother's voice, your teacher's rules, all that stuff we internalize.
Right.
There's a great quote from a mentor named Avanti. "You are born wise. Just because you will not listen to your wisdom does not mean it is not there."
That's powerful.
In this kind of manic society, that inner wisdom is like a lifeline. Helps you find meaning. And it changes how you set goals, too.
How so?
Well, take the story of Jack. He was obsessed with getting an MBA because, well, everyone else had one. But when he looked deeper, his real goals were about character. Being a good leader, feeling confident.
Oh, so understanding being goals, not just doing or having goals.
Exactly. That's fundamental to authentic success.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. This deep dive also suggests that real success isn't about rugged independence. It's about connection.
Yes, challenging that whole independence myth we have in Western culture, this idea of the self-made person being the ultimate hero.
But the sources argue there's no such thing.
Pretty much. Think about Leonardo da Vinci. He wasn't solitary. He had an apprenticeship. He collaborated on masterpieces like The Baptism of Christ.
Or Sir Stanley Matthews, the soccer legend. He was famous for being a great team player. He didn't claim that famous cup final win just for himself. The team won.
It connects to that bigger picture, what Einstein called the optical delusion of our consciousness, seeing ourselves as separate.
Right. He said our task is to widen our circle of compassion.
To embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in all its beauty. Beautifully put.
But modern life seems to push against that connection. Increased mobility, longer work hours.
Yeah.
You mentioned 1 in 8 people work over 60 hours a week now.
It really does impact those vital connections. The sources paint this picture. Work, 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 family, work, work.
Leading to what's called unhealthy cocooning.
Yeah, and a virus of fragmentation.
Yeah.
It breeds loneliness, depression. The sociologist Amitai Etzioni argued we need to balance our individualism with a sense of community, basically. Open our hearts again.
And businesses are catching on too, this relationship economy.
They are. Companies are realizing customers want more than just price or speed. They want a good experience. Connection.
So investing in relationship intelligence, or RQ, becomes important.
Hugely important, both at work and outside of it. But the stats are concerning. That BT survey, Listening to the Nation,
What did that find?
20% of couples rarely talk about their deepest feelings, and parents spend as little as 8 minutes a day really communicating deeply with their kids without multitasking.
Only 8 minutes.
Oh,
Wow. That really highlights the need for better social literacy, doesn't it? For any kind of meaningful success.
absolutely critical.
So for you, listening, what does this mean? It's about looking at your MeWe balance.
Right. And companies are responding. More flexible work options, like BMW offering hundreds of different flexi contracts, they see the benefit.
And that poll of job seekers, almost half chose flexible working over more pay.
Yeah, 46%. It shows what people are starting to value.
Here's a challenging exercise from the sources.
Yeah.
List everyone whose funeral you would genuinely attend.
That's sobering.
The idea is that list should basically be your social calendar guide, a reminder of who truly matters, who is at the heart of your life.
A powerful way to prioritize.
Okay, let's tackle something we often try to avoid: change and failure. The deep dive stresses that shift happens, but it starts inside us.
Yeah, the world changes when we shift our thinking, how we show up.
Peter Drucker, the management expert, even predicted the traditional corporation might not survive long term, highlighting this constant need for inner shifts.
In work, relationships, all of life, really.
So how do we handle these shifts, especially the setbacks? Failure.
Well, there's a really useful reframe, thinking of failure as FAIL, first action in learning.
First action in learning. I like that.
Yeah. There's a personal story in the material about getting 71 rejection slips over 5 years for a first book.
71. Wow. How do you keep going?
The mantra was apparently, to be continued. And remember, Thomas Watson from IBM, he said, the way to succeed is to double your failure rate.
Double your failure rate.
Because failure is where the learning happens. For the author we're drawing from, failure forced the question, what is success? And the answer was simply, to keep writing. It's about the process, the learning, not just the outcome.
That's a huge shift. And it requires courage, right? To face past mistakes.
Definitely. The sources emphasize taking an honest inventory, not to wallow in shame, but to actually release it and learn.
Because denying mistakes or blaming others just blocks growth.
Completely. There's this analogy of the complaints department. It's okay to visit occasionally, maybe blow off steam,
Right.
but you shouldn't live there.
Good point. Now, beyond fear of failure, there's this other thing, the big fear, which includes fears of success. Ovis I.
Yeah, fears of success inhibition. It sounds strange, but it's about unconscious fears, like fear of shining too brightly, fear of real happiness, fear of playing big, even fear of having it all.
Why would we fear those things?
Well, we often make these unconscious success contracts with ourselves, rules about how we're allowed to succeed.
Like what?
Things like fraud guilt, feeling like you haven't really earned it, you'll be found out, or the pain permit, the no pain, no gain idea, perfection order, needing to be flawless, or the independence rule, feeling like success only counts if you did it completely alone.
Ah, back to that independence myth.
Exactly. These can be really deeply buried. And then there's the fear of the fall.
The higher they climb.
The harder they fall. That kind of thinking. Believing success is just setting you up for a crash.
So the key is recognizing these fears and pushing past them.
Yeah, reaching beyond them so you can actually bring your full authentic self and make your contribution.
Okay, we're moving into the final part of our deep dive now. This feels like it's about maybe a renaissance. Purpose, grace, saying yes.
That's a good way to put it. A key idea here is grace. Connecting with intuition, guidance, that feeling of flow.
Like the proverb, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Exactly. Being open to that guidance, that universal intelligence.
And this connects to the idea of now being the goal.
Yes. Now is your goal, your gift, your access point to grace. Think about the word present. It means now, here, and a gift.
So it's about being fully here, appreciating what you have now, instead of always chasing the next thing.
Precisely. It's the antidote to what's called destination addiction. Always heading for the station called next T, never actually arriving anywhere.
And this challenges the whole more is better idea, right? The failure of more.
Absolutely. That study of millionaires in the Forbes 100 finding almost 40% were less happy than average. It's telling. Even winning by society standards doesn't guarantee happiness.
So the suggestion is a 180-degree shift in thinking.
Yeah. Instead of just asking, what more can I do? Also ask, what could I do less? And what could I do differently?
The less is more test. Less busy, more effective. less ego.
More connection to something bigger, yeah. It's a call back to simplicity, to your core values. Cutting out the excess noise and busyness, making space for grace.
And this leads to purpose beyond just profit, the P3 model.
Right. Profit, positioning, and purpose. In this view, money is an enabler, it's useful, but it's not the ultimate game.
Avoiding the money trap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That belief of, when I'm financially secure, then I'll do what I really want, which, as the sources note, often never actually happens.
So it's about finding meaning in contribution now.
Yes. Tim Sanders from Yahoo saw this trend growing, and think about those heartbreaking 911 calls.
The overwhelming message was, I love you.
Love is real. Which contrasts sharply with Amita Roddick's point that the word love is never mentioned in big business.
But Marianne Williamson says,
You're in business to spread love. Your most basic self is love. It's a radical idea. What if the real purpose of our work, our success, is fundamentally about love?
wow, that leads into be the goal and be the difference.
Yes, like the story of Pramod in India. No schools in his village, so he taught himself to read and write so he could become the teacher.
He embodied the change he wanted to see.
He chose to be the difference. It suggests leadership isn't just for the people at the top. It's shifting from God, send us a leader, to God, help me to be a leader.
And that Zulu greeting, Sikoma and Sawubona.
Beautiful, isn't it? I am here to be seen. And the response, I see you. It's about acknowledging each other's presence, our light, our authenticity.
It challenges us to be that light now, not wait for permission or the perfect circumstances.
Like Carl's story, the champion athlete, heart transplant survivor, he found his second life, not chasing more glory, but in serving, helping others.
So ultimately, this deep dive suggests that authentic success and joy are impossible without authenticity.
That's the core message. It is not possible to be inauthentic and feel successful, nor to be inauthentic and feel joy. True happiness is actually proof you're living your true self.
It's not just a nice feeling, it's an indicator.
Exactly. And in a world with so much suffering, your happiness, your peace, your love, they are gifts you offer back.
So this really leaves you, the listener, with a powerful question echoing through everything we've discussed. What do you want to say yes to?
That story of the rabbi who lost everything in the Holocaust but chose yes to life, it's incredibly moving. He refused to let tragedy define his inner life.
Refuse to let what dies inside a man while he lives be his story.
Our time here is limited, our adventure is transient, so the ultimate question becomes, knowing I will die, how shall I live?
For the individual whose insights sparked much of this discussion, the answer that came to him was simple, profound. Love is real.
So after exploring all this, what is your answer to success?
This deep dive hopefully is just a starting point for you. Take these ideas, reflect, and really embark on your own journey towards authentic success. Thank you for diving deep with us today.